What's going on, YouTube? It's Tom here, back with another video today. I know it has been a little while since the last one, but I've got a pretty interesting one today with this knife here on the table in front of me. This is a Kubey Nova sent to me by Parsons Blade Works. You guys should go check him out on Instagram. He has some awesome designs coming down the pipe works here that'll be making it into production before too long, that are actually being produced by Kubey here. This is actually the Nova is an AUS-10. This is actually my first time with AUS-10 and with a Kubey, so I'm going to kind of be sharing my experience with both there. First off, we're going to kind of talk about AUS-10 a little bit. AUS-10 is a steel that you don't really see too often. I don't think it's really used by too many companies other than Cold Steel and now Kubey. Cold Steel, I think, it's called AUS-10A. I don't think there's a massive difference between AUS-10A and just regular AUS-10. It's referred to as a rough equivalent of 440C a lot of times, but there are enough differences to make it a completely separate steel. Another thing is it's kind of almost always confused with AUS-8, so I think it kind of gets talked down on. Now, I wasn't totally sure how the performance would vary compared to AUS-8, because AUS-8 is a pretty solid performer as far as edge retention goes for a budget steel. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But I do think it gets kind of confused with AUS-8 quite a bit. Now, AUS-10 and AUS-8 have slightly different compositions. Almost identical, but AUS-10 has 0.3% more carbon. So in theory, it can get a little bit harder and it can form some more carbides. As always, before we test this guy, it was sharpened at 18 degrees per side on my wicked edge. 200 to 1000 grit diamond, and then stropped on 16 and 4 micron CBN on leather. The edge that came up on this, you can see this is actually freshly sharpened after the test, is just ridiculously sharp and sticky. Very, very impressive. One of the better edges that I've felt come up on a steel, just because it's so fine grained. And before I went ahead and tested this one, I measured the thickness behind the edge, and it came in at 19 thousandths. So pretty average in that aspect. So if you're new here, when I run my edge retention test, I do that same sharpening progression every time, and then I cut cardboard until it can no longer cut computer paper cleanly. So I went ahead and ran that test on the Nova here, and the first test it cut 279.56 feet. Because the numbers were so high, I wasn't sure what to think, so I decided to run it again just to get a verification. And the second test I got 270.38 feet, which is well within that 10% that we're looking for to back things up. So very, very impressive. So that's quite a bit higher than AUS-8, which when we ran it on a rat way back when, like a year and a half ago, it got 195 feet off of its max. So quite a bit higher, but not out of the realm of possibility. This is also just a tad under 9CR on that Civivi that we did not too long ago, which is the current king of budget steels at the moment. So I'm very, very impressed with AUS-10 and Kubey's heat treat on it, and I wish more companies used it. Honestly, this is a steel, if heat treated like this one is, that, I mean, can make a great work knife. I mean, it's better than some S30V that's out there, and S35VN for sure. Very, very impressive stuff. So let's talk about the actual knife itself here real quick before we wrap up the video. The Nova here has nice contoured titanium handles, awesome anodization on it. Everything's just finished really, really nice. The blade is nicely ground and has a nice bead blast finish, as you guys can see there. The thing I love most about it, though, is the handles. Just the contouring is really nice. This little swoop right here for your thumb to sit down inside of when you're cutting is very, very comfortable. I like the milling in it, but the contouring towards the edges makes it very comfortable. Very, very impressed with the milling that's done on this titanium. But perhaps the most impressive thing about this knife is the milling internally to reduce the weight, which keeps it pretty darn light. You really don't see this on too many knives, especially for a knife at this price point, which leads me to the most impressive thing about this is the price. Being $65 to $85 depending where you get it from. So that is a phenomenal deal. When you think about Civivi, that's coming in at that roughly $50 to $70 price mark or price point. This, I don't want to say it's a better built knife. I'd say it's a similarly built knife with slightly better materials for a little bit more cost. I think as far as value goes, this Kubey is right there with the Civivis. Very, very impressed, and I will be keeping an eye out for more of their models here in the future. So that's going to do it for me, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to continue to see more content just like this. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.